Alright, today we're going to talk about 3.3, solving equations using addition or subtraction notes. So, solving equations is, an equation is something that has an equal sign. So what we've been working with is like x plus 3, and it doesn't have an equal sign. That's called an expression. So when it becomes an equation is when it has that equal sign. Okay, so to solve solving equations using addition or subtraction. So in order to solve an equation, you're going to do the inverse, okay? So the inverse of addition is subtraction. So if I had x plus 3, in order to get rid of that plus 3, okay, so equals 4, right? In order to get rid of that plus 3, first step is you draw a line down the equal sign. Second step is, that's a plus 3. To get rid of a positive 3, you have to subtract 3. Right? Because 3 minus 3 gives you to 0. So then technically you have x plus 0 equals 4 minus 3, which is 1. And so x plus 0, anything plus 0 is just x equals 1. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. So the opposite of subtraction would be addition, or the inverse, okay? So let's go ahead and try. So looking at number 1, y plus 12. So first step, draw a line down that equal sign. It's kind of like a scale. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. That is one of the biggest things. Do not forget. So if I add 12 to one side, I have to add 12 to the other side. It's kind of like a scale. When you add 5 pounds here, in order to keep it equal, you have to add 5 pounds on the other side of that scale. Okay? So here we have y plus 12. So to get rid of that 12, I'm going to have to subtract 12 or take away 12. So I subtract 12 here. What I do to one side, I have to do the other side. So I'm going to subtract 12 here. These cancel out, right? Because that becomes 0. So I get y plus 0. And then I have a negative 26, negative 12. Same sign, we combine. So I get 38, and we keep the sign, right? And then y plus 0 is just y. And my answer is y equals 38. So just be careful. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other side. That is the biggest thing. Alright, so step 1, draw a line down my equal sign. Step 2, let's get c by itself. So this is a positive 15 plus c equals negative 12. So in order to get rid of a positive 15, I'm going to subtract 15. What I do to one side, I have to do the other side. So these cancel each other out. So I just get c here because 15 minus 15 is 0. And then this is a negative 12, negative 15, same signs, we combine. So we end up with negative 27. So c equals negative 27. Okay? Moving on, it does not matter that the d is on the other side or your variable is on the other side. It is the same step. So you start by drawing a line through the equal sign, and you want to get d by itself. So I could box d and say, what is by d that I have to get rid of? I have to get rid of this positive 21. So in order to get rid of a positive 21, I have to subtract 21. What I do to one side, I have to do the other side. These cancel out. You get d over here, negative 16, negative 21. Same signs, we combine, and we keep the sign, so negative 37. So d equals negative 37. All right, so now that we've done this, let's go ahead and check if we're correct. Well, you can always check. You have a check answer here. What you do is you plug that 37 in for d, so that d equals negative 37. So I have negative 37 plus 21. So if I circle my terms, opposite signs we subtract, so 37 minus 21, I get 16, and 37 is bigger, so I get negative 16, and that is what we were supposed to get. So this is a correct answer. You can do it with every single one of these. So 27, so I have 15 plus 27 plus a negative 27. So opposite signs, right? We subtract, so 27 minus 15, which gives you 12, and 27 is negative, which is bigger. And that is what we are supposed to get, okay? Make sure you're checking your solutions. Checking solutions is very important. So 38 plus 12, right? And this is a negative 38. We've got to keep that negative. So negative 38 plus 12. So opposite signs, we subtract 38 minus 12. 38 minus 12, which gives you 26. And 38 is bigger, so we keep that negative, which is what we were to get originally, okay? So make sure you check your answers. You have a check answer button. So on like a test or quiz, go ahead and check your answer. I want to see all of this work written out. Alright, so now we have this. So I draw my line down the equal sign. I want to get n by itself. So what's by n? That plus 12.8. Opposite of adding 12.8 is subtracting 12.8. So subtract 12.8. Alright, those cancel out. We end up with n over here. Negative 0.3, negative 12.8, same signs we combine. Carry that 1, so I get 13.1, and it's a negative 13.1. Okay, let's go ahead and check if this is correct. So negative 13.1 plus 12.8. Opposite signs we subtract. So minus 12.8. We borrow. We get 3 here. This is 12, so this becomes, drop the decimal, 0.3, and 13 is bigger, so it's a negative, which, if you check, that is what we were to get at the end, okay? So all I'm doing is, I know n here equals 13.1, so all I'm doing is plugging in for n here. All right, moving on. All right. So, moving on, number 7, write the word sentence as an equation, then solve it. Okay, so let's box up our numbers and then underline important sayings. So, 42 is a number, so I'm going to box it. Less than, that's a saying that would mean something. X is underlined, negative 50. So we boxed up all the numbers and we underlined the important words. Is always means equals. So whenever you see is, you should think equal sign, okay? Sometimes in word problems it doesn't work out that way, but majority of time X is means equals, okay? So then we have to talk about less than. 42 less than X. So we think about it. When I say 42 less than 75, when I think about that, less than means subtract, okay? But when I say 42 less than 75, you would take 75 minus 42, not 42 minus 75, okay? So be careful. Less than is the one that everyone messes up, okay? So you have to flip them. So this has to be X minus 42 is, which is equals, negative 50, okay? And once you have this is one of the answers that I'm going to want to see on your test or quiz, is just writing it, and then you're going to go ahead and solve it. So this is subtract 42, so I'm going to add 42, opposite signs, we go ahead and subtract, these cancel out, we get X is equal, opposite signs we subtract, so I get 8, keep the negative, and then we can go ahead and check if I do negative 8 minus 42, and you should get same signs we combine, and you should get negative 50, which is what we were to get, okay? All right, so same thing, number 8. Let's go ahead and box the numbers up. So 32 is the sum of number z, and 9, okay? So is means equals, we know that. The sum means to add a number z and 9. So 32 equals the sum, which is plus, so plus z and 9, okay? That's the answer for writing it out. And then we draw our line, we subtract 9, we get z is equal to 23, and it's a positive, and then you can go ahead and check 23 plus 9, which does give you 32, okay? So my answer is 23 equals z. Okay, all right, moving to the word problem. So a clothing company makes a profit of 2.3 million. This is 4.1 million more than last year. What was the profit, okay, last year? So 2.3 million, it's a number. Guys, sometimes numbers do not always go along with it, so you have to pick and choose. So be careful with reading into numbers, okay? There are important numbers and there are numbers that they just throw in there for extra numbers, okay? 3.3 is, we see an is, 4.1 million more than is a good word, last year. Do we know how much last year is? No, so that's going to be my variable here, okay? So 2.3 million is equal sign, right? 4.1 million more than. More than means to add, and last year means X, we don't know, okay? We draw our line, subtract 4.1, subtract 4.1. Opposite signs we subtract, so 4.1 minus 2.3. And we borrow, we get 1.8. Okay, and that would be negative because 4.1 is bigger, so negative 1.8 is equal to X because those cancel out. And that's negative $1.8 million, right? And this would be my answer to that question. You can go ahead and plug it in. So 4.1 plus a negative 1.8, opposite signs you subtract, you will end up with 2.3 million, okay? All right, a drop on a wooden roller coaster is negative 98.5 feet. Oh, there is a number. A drop on a steel roller coaster is 101/4 feet lower than the drop on the wooden roller coaster. Do we know what the wooden roller coaster is? Yeah, we do. 98.5, right? Okay, so we know that X, which is the steel roller coaster, right? Plus the 101/4, right? Has to equal that negative 98.5 feet, okay? Because the wooden roller coaster is, the wooden roller coaster is 104 feet higher than the other one, okay? So, than the steel roller coaster. If you get this written this way or this way, I do not care if you figured it out this way too. This is fine. So this is negative because it's lower than. 98.5, but you have to have it in one of these two ways, okay? Because you're going lower than, so that 101/4 goes negative 101/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and just use it in the equation form that I brought up here. Okay, so using the equation up here, we draw our line, we subtract our 101/4, subtract our 101/4, same signs, we combined, okay? So this becomes negative 198, and then we have 1/2 plus 1/4. All right, we want to get the common denominator, so 2 times 2 gives you 4, and then 1 times 2 gets you 2. So 2 plus 1 is 3, and we get 3/4. So my answer is negative 198 3/4 feet. So that is the distance below, or the drop of the steel roller coaster. All right, that's 3.3.